Okay,
Hello,
there we go.
everyone, and welcome to Stories from Motorsports. Today, we have Iowa driver Joey Gase on the channel. Finally, someone from Iowa on the channel with us. How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on.
We appreciate you coming on, Joey, and congrats on starting a new race team.
Thank you very much. It's very exciting, but nerve-wracking all at the same time.
Definitely. Has your previous team owners been supportive of it so far?
They have, for the most part. It's I respect a lot of them, and they've helped me a lot along the way, and it's something I definitely been asking a lot of them for advice and what their thoughts are on things, and they've been super helpful.
That's great to hear. So yeah, what made you get into racing?
I've loved racing pretty much ever since I can remember. My dad raced me before I did, just at the local short track level back at Hawkeye Down Speedway in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. So I grew up in it, grew up going to the racetrack every Friday night, watching my dad and helping him in the garage. And, I love doing and love being a part of.
That's great to hear. Who is your biggest hero?
Probably my my grandpa. Probably on he's someone that's really cool and someone that's super trustworthy and just someone that always gives great advice, and someone that a lot of different people also look up to. And he's just a great guy, but my favorite drivers growing up were, of course, obviously my dad was Rusty Wallace and Kenny Schrader. For whatever reason, I always liked Rusty Wallace. I don't know what that was, but I just always liked him. And Kenny Schrader was definitely because he actually would come to Hawkeye Downs and race once a year for a long time. So he was the first NASCAR driver I was ever able to actually meet. And the thing I loved about Kenny is that he just loved to race. It didn't matter if it was a NASCAR race or your local short track. He just loved to be out there and race.
That's the way to look at it. You have any questions, Justin? Which you do, but yeah.
Yeah. So Joey, tell everyone how nerve-wracking you are at starting your own team. I mean, who's helping you do it? Is there a family effort, or what's going on there?
Rick Burgoyce has been a huge help, and he started with us a while back, but he's someone that was my crew chief a couple years ago at Starcom Racing, and been around the sport for a long time. And he's someone that's been really good. And but it's definitely my entire racing career, it's always been one huge family effort, and it's definitely going to continue to be like that. Without my family's support, I definitely wouldn't be here today. My grandpa's always been right there, my dad's always been right there, and my uncle Jim, he was my crew chief back when I raced at the local level, and all of them have been there. My whole family's definitely been there every step of the way, and my wife, especially now, she's involved a lot, and my sister Ashley helps. Just really, the list never stops there. It's definitely a whole family effort for sure.
That's really cool. Don't you have 2 twin children?
Yep, we do. My wife and I, we have identical twin boys, and they just turned 2 about a week ago. So my wife's definitely very busy with them for sure. They're a full-time job in themselves, but we're definitely very blessed to have them. And they are definitely identical for sure. And it's I always said I didn't want them to race, but I think they're definitely going down that path right now. And they love everything about it, from putting lug nuts on to playing with the race cars and on the floor or whatever it might be. They're definitely all about it.
That's really cool.
So,
Which teams have you driven for in your career?
I drove for quite a few different teams throughout my career. It all started at on the NASCAR side anyway, for Go Green Racing, which turned into Go Fast Racing, but they on the nationwide side, but now Xfinity side back in 2011 at Iowa Speedway, and then I drove for Jimmy Means Racing for a long time in the Xfinity series, and then I kept going back and forth to Go Fast Racing on the Cup side, but then I drove for BK Racing when I made my first Daytona 500 start on the Cup Series side, and then I drove for Bobby Dotter. I drove for Carl Long, Starcom Racing, and then I've also, the last 2 years drove for Rick Ware Racing on the Cup Series.
so what are your goals this season?
Hello, you still there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Our goals this year, our goals this year, first and foremost, is just make sure we make every race and finish every race. I think if we can do that, the rest will take care of itself. That's definitely our main goal, to make sure we can do that. Get up in points and make sure we can get comfortable in the points and get provisionals and all that kind of stuff. But we gotta make races, and we gotta finish races in order to do that. And that's something that I've been successful in doing in my career, and hopefully now, being a driver and a team owner, we can continue to do that.
So
Definitely. Just
So
wondering, is Go Fast Racing now closed?
They are, yes. They sold everything to Live Fast Racing.
Okay.
So
That was a good
Joey,
team.
So who's the sponsor that's going to back you to help you get your dream of starting your own team off the ground? Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we're still working on a lot of our different sponsors. And actually, like I said, I'm actually on the way to a sponsor meeting right now, actually. But just like, for the most of my career, we'll have a bunch of different sponsors throughout the year. But a big part of that will be, my Donate Life partners and OPO partners that have been part of my career for a long time, raising awareness for organ donation. A lot of people don't realize it, but it's not just one big organization. We actually team up. There's actually 58 OPOs, is what they're called, across the nation. And, I have to sell myself to each and every one of those. But we team up with, about half of them throughout the race season. And they'll definitely be a big part of our season for sure. But there'll be many other sponsors along the way as well that will be able to announce at a later date.
That's really cool.
So,
So yeah, what are your hopes for the 35 Xfinity car if you had to pick where you want to place?
The goal is always, of course, to win, but at the same time, I think we can do that at the super speedways. But all the other racetracks, that get going, our goals are to finish in the top 20. If we can do that, we'll be really happy. Getting our feet wet in the sport, and the competition. Honestly, I think this season is going to be the highest it's been ever since I've been in the sport, as far as the Xfinity side goes. there's more and more teams joining, and not just teams, but teams that are, going to be running really, really good equipment, and really, really good motors. So it's going to be really high competition, but I think our team can do it.
Yeah. Fire away, Justin.
So Gilly, do you have any plans to go cup racing with your team in a couple years, or just focus on the Xfinity side with the team?
Right now, we're definitely just focusing on the Xfinity side. The Cup Series is definitely a different ball game, for sure. Especially with the next gen car, they're super expensive as far as it goes for a little team, and also on the Cup Series side, for the most part, most races to normally make it work financially, you gotta be a team that has a charter. And obviously those are hard to come by, and there's only 36, and the price of them is at an all-time high right now for sure. But we're definitely just focusing right now on the Xfinity side as a as a team goes. But as a driver, I'm still planning on driving both in the Cup and the Xfinity Series this year. Probably not as much on the Cup side, but we'll see what all takes place.
That's really cool. Is Rick Ware gonna support you in your team ownership, like manufacturally, or no?
He's definitely helping in different ways, but he's not a powerhouse team yet, I guess you would say, as far as like information and data goes, compared to if you have reliance like Stuart Haas or something like that. But Rick's definitely been super helpful and helping me in many different ways.
Cool.
So Gilly, do you have any plans on who your spotter is going to be?
We're still in the works and talking with different spotters, but we do have a crew chief locked down, and that is George Church. I worked in the past with him, and he's been someone else that has been in the sport for a long time.
You heard
Cool.
it here
What
first.
sponsors are you hoping to be with?
Like I said, we're just working on a bunch of different sponsors, but the one sponsors I can say are for sure coming back are our Donate Life partners.
How'd that start?
Our Donate Life partners all started with my mom. Unfortunately, in April of 2011, she passed away of a brain aneurysm. And when that happened, the doctors asked us if she'd like to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor. At that time, it was something we never really talked about a lot, but we knew she could no longer continue her life. She would want to do whatever she could to help others continue theirs. So we said yes, and later we found out she's able to help save and improve the lives of 66 people. So ever since then, we wanted to do whatever we could to help raise awareness for donation and honor all those affected by it. So ever since that day, I've reached out to different OPOs and Donate Life organizations about teaming up with us to raise awareness for organ donation and honor all those by it. And, it started at Iowa Donor Network, I'm from the state of Iowa, and that's the OPO my mom was a organ donor through.
Did we lose you?
Did we lose you?
It's slowly spreading. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, what's the process like of building a race team?
There's definitely a ton that goes into it. That's for sure. One thing that's been helpful gives a little bit of jump start on things was, being able to purchase a lot of the cars and assets of H2 Motorsports from Shane Lee. That was a operating team back in 2019, and we were able to go in and pretty much get everything minus a hauler, engines, and a garage box. So that we got 3 race cars, and they're beautiful cars. So that definitely gave us a big jump start on things. But from there, the list pretty much goes on. From finding a good enough shop, finding the right people for your organization and team, to finding the funds and sponsorship to do everything from all the licensing side with NASCAR, to getting cars approved, to figuring out your engine programs. It's a list you could go on with pretty much forever. But luckily last year I was able to get my feet wet a little bit. I actually did 2 Xfinity races last year with my own car, both of them being at Talladega. And we teamed up with other teams to do that, to use their number and their at-track equipment and stuff like that. And our the second race we did at Talladega went really, really well. We teamed up with Jimmy Means, and we were able to finish 15th, and we were as high, to the top 5 at times in the race. And unfortunately, the race got cut short due to daylight. I think we could have done better yet, but at the same time, I was very happy as an owner to get a good finish and to have a car in one piece.
Definitely. Was that kind of you dipping your feet in the water of team ownership?
Yep, for sure.
Pretty cool. Fire away, Justin.
So do you have any plans of people joining you down the road, or is it just going to be you for the time being?
As far as drivers go, we'll be having. I'll be driving a lot throughout the season, but we definitely will be having other drivers join us as well. I think one of those will be Shane Lee. We become good friends during the process of everything so far, and he's a great driver and racer. And the cool thing is, for him, he knows exactly what the equipment is that he'll be getting it. He would be getting it. So I think one of our other drivers will be Shane Lee, but there might be a few other ones in there as well along the way.
That's
Awesome.
really cool.
Great to meet you. I'm from Iowa, so
I did not know that. That is awesome. What part of Iowa are you from?
Des Moines.
Okay, well, very cool. That's awesome. I actually fly back to Iowa tomorrow morning for Christmas.
Awesome.
So,
Yeah, that's really cool. I'm from Colorado.
Okay, very cool. Well, thank you so much, guys, for having me on, and I hope you guys have a good Christmas.
Yep.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you
Thank
much.
That
Yep,
will do
bye-bye.
it for Gase Edited.
What was that, Justin?
Stories from motorsports. Uh-oh.